What's good, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Kavaisha. I'm here with my friend Wes. I'm from Canada. I'm really excited to have him because really quickly about his background, he did over 8 figures in e-commerce himself, and now he's really focused on his agency where they do some high quality content production and creators for a lot of 8 and 9 figure brands. And they've already driven over $80 million in revenue solely from their creators over the past couple of years. And this video, he is going to share like how he approaches direct response creators and the media buying behind it. And he's actually going to break down some case studies and how you can apply it to really make creators that stand out and that sell, right? So I'm really excited to have you, Raw, and I'm gonna give over to you so you can start.
Amazing. Thank you, brother. Thank you for having me. All right, you guys. So I'm really stoked to present and talk about content, and I hope I can kind of leave everything out here and provide a ton of value. Let me just... Okay, so I'm going to talk about how we consistently make ad creative that drives revenue and grows brand. So you can implement these strategies whether you're a 6-figure eCom brand, whether you're a 7-figure, 8-figure, 9-figure eCom brand, it doesn't matter, or if you're an agency implementing it for your clients. So this is despite rising ad costs and despite more and more competitors entering the market. And this is from 80 million in revenue driven and over 450 million views on our ads in the last 1.5 years. So hi, I'm Wes, founder at Disrupt Media. A little background about me. 2013 to 2019, I was failing forward as an entrepreneur. I started a lot of different things, couldn't get them working. I started my first ecom brand called Some of All Borders in 2016, and I didn't even really know what D2C was at that time. It failed. 2019, I officially got into ecom. I got scammed by a guru in New Zealand. I lost everything. 2019, I freelanced. I started and sold my ecom store in a kitchen niche. Then early 2020, I put that money into a dropshipping brand that I scaled to 300K per week in less than 10 days from launch. Mid 2020, scaled the store a lot. It was the most money I had ever made, but I made a ton of infrastructure mistakes. But during that time, I learned a ton about direct response, performance marketing, and all things ecom. Late 2020, we started a full service agency. We launched our first client on a pre-order to 220K in 45 days. And around when iOS 14 happened, it made me think about transitioning the agency trajectory from full service to really focusing on paid content. So what led to my success in ecom and like why our current clients that we had at the time were winning was not because I was the best tactical media buyer, and it was mainly just because I was really solid at making great creative and reiterating that creative. The creative that we made drove a ton of comments, shares, and then that in turn helped account performance and sales. I got good at what to look for with winning ads. And so June 2021, we decided to double down on content. So now we help 8 and 9-figure brands scale with ad creative. I have a lot of insight to these 8 and 9-figure brands and how they're thinking about things. So I think this should be able to help you guys and provide a ton of value. So a little bit about Disrupt. We've done 80 million in revenue for our clients. Again, 450 million views on our ads since starting 1.5 years ago. We make highly entertaining and educational ad creative. We have a handful of 8 and 9-figure brands that rely on us for direct response and edutainment style creative. We work with some great brands like Puffy Mattress, Omaha Steaks, Persona Nutrition, Symbiotica, Riddle, and many others. So the goal of this presentation is to give you guys a framework and a system to make creative that consistently performs, show how we come up with this creative process from start to finish so you can implement it, and then give insights to how we think of everything from a full funnel approach now. And then breakdown of ads that we made and why they work so well. And then a view into a campaign we literally just launched in the last week that decreased our client new customer CPA by over $65. And I want to hold nothing back. So I want to start with a question. So this question's going out to Carl. So, hey, Carl, I've never met you, but can you give me an hour of your time so I can pick your brain? You probably like these questions, eh, Carl? They go in your DM.
Hate those questions. Never reply. Always instantly delete them.
Exactly, right? So what I call this is a no. Like, just don't do this to people. Don't do this in your content. Don't do this. This is called transactional content, or just being a transactional human being. And a lot of people think like this, just in life. But the biggest thing I think about is, like, why do we think about our ads to cold traffic like this? People who have never heard of you, they've never heard of your brand, they've never heard of your product. You're instantly trying to hard sell them and take something instead of give value to them right off the hop. It's very hard to convince somebody, just like it is to cold DM somebody, asking them of something, to get them on a call or whatever it is you're trying to do. In our case, in direct to consumer, it's trying to sell somebody and get them to purchase our product. Nobody likes transactional people. Nobody talks about transactional people. Nobody introduces transactional people to their networks, and nobody raves about transactional people. You can see it with Carl and your blow up, like, over the last little while. When you think about this, you've provided so much free value to the community and educational stuff that it's made your trajectory literally go like this, a hockey stick, because people kind of feel indebted to you. And it's very similar with content and making creative that you're pushing on paid media. So skepticism is at an all-time high right now. People's BS meters are at an all-time high. People see ads, they're like, oh, like, this is annoying. The only way to lower skepticism is to provide people value through your ads that you make. So you need to prove, when you're making your ads, that you are different than every other person that's trying to take their money. It's harder now to convince someone than it ever has been. And it doesn't matter if you're doing an agency, info product, a D2C product. You need to convince people why your product or service is better than another person's. And you need to do that by providing value. So you need to make ads so good that people want to share it. So people's biggest questions when they're watching your ads are, will it work for me? Will I like it? Will it look good on me? And questions along those lines. People care about what is in it for them. So your ads need to clearly answer these questions and clear them from people's heads. So, if you're selling, let's call it a supplement, like, is it gonna actually help with my gut health? I've been dealing with X issue. Is it gonna help me sleep better? Is it gonna help me live a happier, more fulfilling life? These are questions that people ask while they're watching your ads. So first, I want to touch on, like, what brands are not direct response brands. Louis Vuitton, Loro Piana, Christian Dior, Rolex, these styles of brands are not direct response brands. So I think a lot of times people watch very high-end brands, and they have these, like, branded videos that, like, have no words on them. They have no voiceover or anything like that. And it's just like a cool looking video. And then they try and recreate that for their brand to give that feel, but then they run it on paid media and it does absolutely nothing in terms of revenue and sales. So just want to get that off the table. So what brands are direct response brands? So Blissy would be a good one. Dr. Squatch, Pet Labs Co., Golden Hippo. If you guys look them up, they're OGs in the space. They have a multitude of brands. They're like a very great direct response marketers. And then Guthy Ranker, they're like the real OGs. They ran like a ton of VSL infomercial kind of style stuff. Own companies like Proactive that they took to over $1 billion. So what is direct response advertising? So I wanted to make this presentation be able to provide value to people who are doing 8 and 9 figures, but also people who are just getting into the e-commerce space, and really break it down. So direct response advertising, simply put, is basically advertising that is designed to elicit an immediate response from the consumer. So in our world of D2C, that's typically a purchase or a lead generation email sign up. So there's a tiny misconception around DR content. So since TikTok, long form doesn't work. That is a common misconception I hear a lot, where people are like, videos have to be sub 45 seconds. This is not true. Companies like Golden Hippo run 5-minute to 1 hour long meta ads for their brands like Gundry MD. This little nuance should change to boring ads don't work. Ads with no value don't work. Ads that don't educate don't work. Time has very little to do with it. So another tiny misconception is direct response means ugly ads. And that is also not true. For some brands, yes, it does mean that, but for some, no. Some of the best companies combine direct response and still make it on brand for them. And this is like a common thing I think like a lot of agency owners can relate to when their clients are like, it's not on brand. And that makes you want to jump off a bridge, because often that stuff doesn't perform as well when it's super on brand. But there is a balance where you can make it on brand and still very performance driven. So however it is done, it needs to match and provide a congruent experience post-click. So whatever the ad you're putting out looks like on Meta, YouTube, wherever you're spending money on traffic, it needs to be congruent post-click. So the look and feel of one company's direct response style ads may work for one company, but not another. So I'll give you guys an example. So Umzu versus AG1. These are both companies in the nutrition space, okay? So both brands, same niche, both use direct response in their ads. So they have a completely different look pre and post click. So AG1 crushes with direct response, but they run a higher end look and feel, and they're a higher price point product. So Umzu on the left, you can see here, it's a little bit different look and feel. It's very like in your face kind of thing. And then their landers, their PDPs that they're driving to, just have a very congruent feel to the creative that they're running. So AG1, same thing. They're a higher end brand. And you can see the price point with Umzu on the left, a little bit cheaper than what AG1 goes for. So a lot of AG1's ads are a little bit higher production style, but they still really have great direct response elements on all their creatives. And you can see their creative has a little bit more of a clean, tailored, polished look. And then the where they're driving it to, this lander here is a little bit higher end looking and feeling. So whatever your brand is, it's making sure you can give a congruent feeling across the board as best as possible. So I don't believe there's a right or wrong way to do it. In my belief, like making ones that are pretty direct response ads versus like a little bit uglier direct response ads. It just has to make the most sense for the brand. So you need to figure out what style works best for your brand and kind of test all of it. So at the end of the day, great ads should pre-sell the traffic as best as you can before the PDP or wherever you're driving them to, whether it's like an advertorial, lander, wherever you're driving. So the structure of a great DR ad, basically, which means customers, what are they going to actually think about your brand when they see the creative? So a great DR ad builds a connection between the customer and your brand. Are the ads going to make people give a shit about your brand? So some of the great elements of a great direct response ad include basically before you start any of that, you need to understand who you're speaking to, understand your target audience needs and desires, communicate how your product or offer can fulfill those needs in a clear and compelling and persuasive way. And then this is a big one, foreshadow them and put them in a state of this is who I can become when I use this product or buy this product. So here are the elements of great DR ads. So they have an attention grabbing hook, a strong hook that highlights either a fact, a problem, or the main benefit or unique selling proposition of your product is essential to get people to stop and watch further. And I'll break down some of our ads because there's also, in terms of copy, there's also visual elements that are super important. So you need to have a compelling offer as well. A clear call to action. So your ad should include a clear and very specific call to action that tells people what you actually want them to do. Benefits focused copy. So really talking about less, I think it's a little bit different, Carl, probably in Germany. I think you guys care maybe a little bit less about benefits in terms of, I think functionality matters in certain areas of Europe and stuff more. Does that sound correct?
Kind of. So you made a great point with the slide before that it's super, super important for everyone that's listening before you start with any of the production or the script or whatever. You need to understand who are you selling to. So what Wes was saying right now, in Germany, for example, the consumer behavior and the buyer mentality is different from what it is in America. Right. So like the geolocations are different and how people are in terms of like the culture, what they want, what they need and everything, and also how you can communicate to them. So that's like the basis to get this understanding of who are you selling to and really do the deep dive into the psychology and wants and needs and desires of your target audience. And then that's the basis for you to be able to follow all of the points that Wes is talking to right now.
Yeah, exactly. And so, yeah, depending on where you are, there's a little bit of difference of what people actually care about. That's kind of your job to uncover and know where you're selling to and who you're selling to before you start any of this. So in North America, benefit focused copy is super important. Basically how it can solve a problem or fulfill a need for your target. Focus on the benefits, not just the features. Social proof, including testimonials, case studies, or customer reviews to build trust and credibility with your audience. Like I said at the start, skepticism is at an all-time high. You need to earn people's trust. It's just like when someone cold DMs you, you have no idea who they are, and they're asking for something right away, you're highly skeptical. So scarcity or urgency, this works well across the board. Not every brand uses it because of some brands want to maintain a little bit more of a high-end feel. But creating a sense of urgency by emphasizing limited availability or time-limited offers that encourage people to take an action. So visuals, using like really high-quality visuals, images or videos that showcase your product and demonstrate its benefits. So educational is another piece, educating the viewer on how your product will actually help them. And entertaining the viewer, this is a big one. There's multiple ways you can entertain people. You can entertain people through education as well. And then curiosity, so provoking the viewer to want to learn more, getting them over to the product page to educate them further on your product or offering. So I'm going to play this ad. This is from Pet Lab Co. If you guys are wanting to look up some brands that are current, I'm pretty sure these guys bootstrapped to like 100 million. They crush it with direct response ads, and they make stuff consistently that just does really, really well and just works really, really well. So I'm going to play this and then we'll break it down.
Dog owners, never ignore these 3 things in your dog's teeth. First, fishy breath. Second, yellow teeth. Third, drooling. Now, not many owners know this, but these are 3 signs your dog's teeth need support. Now, what if I told you there's an easy way to maintain your dog's fresh breath? Introducing PetLab Co's Dental Formula, an efficient and affordable way to help their dental health today. Just 1 teaspoon a day helps target plaque and tartar buildup. We started using the PetLab dental formula for our 7-year-old Frenchie Sebastian. His mouth was terrible. Really bad plaque and tartar buildup, and his breath was horrendous. And I've been blown away with the results. His teeth are white. Join thousands of dog owners seeing amazing results with this. Learn more below.
Okay, so I want to take one note of something like right away on that ad when she says, my dog was 7 years old. So that specific problem they're talking to of tartar buildup, around 7 years old is an age where dogs really start to see that because their health is kind of on a decline. And so instantly that's like just one little small thing where it's like they're really dialed on who they're talking to with the specific problem they're talking about. They have multiple products that solve multiple different problems. But that specific angle of tartar buildup is very specific to dogs that are a little bit aged. And so right away, if you're a consumer and you have a dog that's, let's say, north of 5 years old, you want to prevent tartar buildup. If you have a dog that's around that same age, you can relate to it because your dog's probably very similar in that it has tartar buildup as well. So let's break down this ad. So hook, dog owners, never ignore these 3 things in your dog's teeth. This, along with the engaging visual, the actual VO of this is very engaging. It makes you want to be like, what are the 3 things in your dog's teeth, and continue watching. So earning every second. So educational. So then they go, now not many of know this, but these are the 3 things your dog's teeth need support. You're educating the people. You're invoking curiosity. What if I told you there's a way to maintain your dog's fresh breath? Then you intro the product in a very clean way, introducing PetLab Co's dental formula. Benefit, an efficient and affordable way to help their health today. How to use it, showcasing how you're using the product. This again showcases ease. It's super easy to use. Just 1 teaspoon a day helps plaque and tartar buildup. And then social proof, and then you're agitating the problem again. So we started using the PetLab formula for our 7-year-old Frenchie Sebastian. His mouth was terrible with really bad plaque and tartar buildup, and his breath was horrendous. I've been blown away with the results. His teeth are white. Then they finished with the call to action. Join thousands of dog owners seeing amazing results with this. Learn more below. So even in the call to action, if you look at their call to action, subconsciously your mind is like, oh, thousands of other people are using this. It must work for my dog too. Then you click more to learn more. And that's a really great direct response ad. And I highly recommend going to their ad library and looking at how they structure a lot of their ads. So the next thing, this is just a little sidebar, but if we look at the way they structure their copy, their text copy as well as their headline. So if your dog's breath stinks, this dental formula can help in just 30 seconds. Stinky breath, try this today. So what I like about this headline is it doesn't give away exactly what the product is right away. So it's an intriguing headline and it's intriguing copy. It makes you think and question what they're going to talk about. It makes you say, try what today? So majority of their ads are structured like this. These ads drive a higher CTR. They cause engagement to go up because other people are going to come in the comment section, talk about their dogs, share stories, stuff like that. Causes CPMs to go down. When you can drive engagement, CPMs are going to go down. It drives higher intent traffic because you're really educating people on the product, really selling the benefit really agitating the problem, and that will cause higher intent traffic. So the traffic is often very pre-sold before they even get to the PDPs with this style of content. So the problem is laid out to them, and the solution is either sold or moving them over to click and read more. And that's where, if the ad doesn't sell them, Carl's PDPs and landers are going to sell.
What I wanted to emphasize really quickly, if you can go back like one slide before, here what you see with what Pad Labs is doing is what Wes was talking about earlier, that they aren't necessarily pushing the conversion in your face. So they're not telling you, hey, shop now or buy this new health product for dogs or something like that, right? It's more like the more subtle way of, hey, we are going to give you some value. And if you're interested, then you can try it or you can learn more, right? So it's like a really subtle, smooth way of easing you into the video. And then like, if you're in the target audience, you're going to be sucked into the video, like watching it in like this no seconds, because it's like really talking to your situation right now. And then you're going to find yourself clicking on the call to action, because it's really, really nice in terms of how it like grabs their attention subtly. And it's not too early that they ask for something big, like buy now or shop this product, right?
Exactly. And that's the other thing, like they'll do too, if you look at like a lot of their ads when they launch. So this would be like V1 hook one. So they'll make this exact same version, and the only thing they change is the first 2 to 3 seconds of this creative. And then they roll them out into the winning campaign kind of thing. But that's kind of a separate topic. But yeah, this whole thing invokes curiosity. It educates, and it does a really good job at, like, I know my dog, his breath stinks. So like I would probably watch this ad and be like, I'd like to try this product. So the next thing is that thought of driving engagement is what leads me to the next thing. So I had a thought where it was like, what if we could make ads so engaging with this combo of direct response and entertainment that people had to comment and engage? So let me backtrack first. So my first drop shipping store, I took to stupid numbers very quickly, that I talked about at the start of the presentation. It was a golf product, and I made a ton of versions very similar to like the Pet Lab kind of style, the way it's cut, the way it feels. But what we would do is we would say in the comment section, share your swing. And we would get people to post videos of their golf swing in the comment section. And then we would have, like, from our Facebook page, we would be like, that's a brutal swing, or that swing looks great. And what it would do is it would cause this engagement pool of people coming in, and once some guys would get their swings made fun of. And then some guys would be like, oh, you have a great swing. And it created this massive engagement of people talking about their golf swings. And it was pretty irrelevant. We were selling a golf product, so it was similar, but it was pretty irrelevant to our product per se. And so this drove massive engagement. It lowered our CPMs and basically got us really, really cheap traffic, because the way Facebook and a lot of these platforms view your ads is they see it as this holistic kind of ecosystem, basically, where they favor ads that drive engagement. So that kind of was the first thing that led me down this path. It was the first thing I noticed of, like, there's a pattern among a lot of our ads that do really well. They drive engagement in the comment section. And so that was when we transitioned the agency to be only creative focused mainly. And so we onboarded our first client, Persona Nutrition, and this was right around when the Karen meme went viral. Persona Nutrition is owned by Nestle. And so we thought if we could tap into this meme and make something that would stir up controversy, it could do really, really well. And combine it with what we know and what my bread and butter was, which was like direct response creative. So I'm going to play this ad for you guys, and then I'll kind of share the results of it.
Oh, right up. Usual, bloated, stressed. Well, I'm telling you, man, persona nutrition. I've been telling you for years. All right, this is the bet. Here. I'm feeling on. Daily packs right to your door. Super easy. Fine. I'll give it a try.
Okay, cool. So let's break down this ad. So when Persona came to us, the way their funnel works is they run people to a very long survey that gives you a tailored, customized vitamin plan. They were having a really hard time getting qualified traffic to fill out the funnel that takes them, 3 to 5 minutes to fill this thing out. It's not like just driving someone to a page where they can check out. So we had a bunch of thought processes around this ad that I'll kind of go into, but we'll break this down. So the hook and pattern interrupt at the start, it's very relatable, and it's something that you don't see often. So she's walking out of her front door, she's looking like a mess, and she goes, "Oh, it's fucking bright out," and she looks up at the sky. So we have a huge factor of relatability, which is super important in your ads. A lot of people, I think, want to make their people always perfect in their ads. And again, like I started the start of this presentation, people's BS meters are at an all-time high. So like relatability and kind of poking fun can work really, really well because it humanizes your brand. We call out the problem right at the start: tired, bloated, stressed. So basically we did an export, and I'll send you how we do it at the end, Carl, that you can share with your audience. But we export as many reviews as companies have, and we categorize into a CSV file the reviews that are most prevalent, and we kind of shift that to be the angles of what we speak about and craft our ads around that. So we really know that we're talking to the right people and hitting on the right value props. So product, intro, solution on a very clear display. She holds up the box. Again, another pattern interrupt. People, you need to kind of jolt people's attention back to what they're watching. So she gets hit in the head with the box. You're like, oh, that kind of draws you back in. Then pre-frame the post-click. So a big thing, like I said, they were having a hard time getting people through the survey. So we were like, what if we talked about the survey in the ad? So the survey is super easy, and we talk about the time frame of that survey and how long it takes. So then when people watch it and they go post-click, they're already prepped in their mind. They know they're gonna have to do a survey. They don't think they're going to just a product page where they can buy. And so this really increased the amount of traffic we were able to get through, all the way through the funnel. And then we agitate the problems again. So she says weight loss, energy, whatever you need. And then we talk about the benefits, and we kind of mold that with how it's easy, and we educate them. So custom daily packs right to your door. And then she gets convinced. So the person who was kind of in a rough shape gets convinced. And that is really important because it opens a story loop. There's hundreds of comments on that ad where like, I want to know what happened to Karen next. And so that open a really good story loop. And then we have the call to action, which is fill out this survey. So this ad, we made it very relatable to the exact person we were talking to. We humanized it. We foreshadowed. We used the same character, if you notice, as a better version of herself. So people want to picture themselves becoming the best version. It doesn't matter who you are. And we used all the direct response elements to a T nicely within this video. So
Bro, one sec. I fucking love all of this low key shit that she did. You just like went through it like really quickly, but it's so many subtle elements that I want to like emphasize that for a sec. Just with like you have people wanting to see a better version of themselves. So what you do is you use the same character for like their current situation and their desired situation, like small shit like that. I'm like so obsessed with the psychology behind it. So when I saw you talking about that, I was just like so happy.
yeah, dude, and I'll drop the link to the group at the end so you guys can go check out and read comments of this ad. But like that's like a big thing. People, there's a ton of comments being like, did you guys realize that's the same person? And like, what happened to Karen next kind of thing. And it, yeah, people want to become the best versions of themselves. So like, that's super, super important. And so this is where this specific ad, this was the first one we ever did. And this was a complete moonshot. I didn't know if it would work with combining the high entertaining ad. I had an assumption that I think it would work, but I didn't know for sure. And so we got in the door with Persona Nutrition. They paid us. It's literally laughable. It was the first one we ever did. We had no proof of concept. They paid us 4,500 USD for that. And it's really funny because like a lot of people, going back to the providing value thing, people want to pitch and close and do this thing without providing value. We kind of needed, transitioning our agency to this new kind of model that we were doing, we needed to prove it out this style that it could work. And so we did that for $4,500. I lost money on making it. But this is what kicked us off into the past 8 months. We did 22 of these productions. And so this is where I noticed something really, really crazy. And I have this little viral thing above here. So the Karens came in hot on this ad. So we had, again, I'll share the ad so you guys can go through and read the questions or read the comments, but tons of people coming in and commenting on the Karen meme, and some people being like, this is hilarious. Some people being like, my name is Karen and this is mean. And so this is like a comment on the left of like a really long message, someone basically saying we're discriminating against Karens. And then again, on the right here, another person with the name Karen. But what this did was it created this massive thing where we had all these Karens coming in and commenting, and then we had all these other people coming in and commenting to the Karens, and it created this conversation, which basically just absolutely boosted this ad to crazy levels. And so that was like one version of the comments that were coming in. The others were like, this is a great ad, this is funny, people tagging their friends, that kind of thing. So if you can do that, one, through entertainment, it can be through humor, it could be through evoking emotion, it could be through multiple different ways, it could be through education, like the Pet Labs Co. But you need to think of your creative, of your ad comment section being an ecosystem to drive lower CPMs and increase conversion, all that stuff. So the positive comments rolled in too. So like a lot of people saying like, love this commercial, whoever came up with this should get a raise. That's the funniest ad I've ever seen. So a ton of comments generated. The result was 60 million views on Meta on just this one ad ID. We ran multiple versions of this, a lot of revenue. I can't give out specific amounts due to client, but you can check their ad library. We launched this May 18th, 2021, and it's still running with spend to this day.
So
yeah,
if you want to do the numbers yourself, it's a fuck ton of revenue.
yeah, you can do the numbers yourself. AOV is around 135 for this specific company. So yeah, we made that for $4,500. Let's just say I wish I had have structured it on revenue share back when we first started, but nonetheless, it kicked us off into thinking about content differently and executing content differently for a lot of these brands. So many of you guys are familiar with Triple Whale, and they're a SaaS tool, right? So we made and we make all the Triple Whale creative, all the high production Triple Whale creative, and we were going back and forth on what to actually make for Triple Whale. And a big thing was like breaking down of who we're actually speaking to. And the consumer that we were speaking to was actually a growth marketer, similar to myself, similar to someone like Carl. And so the ad needed to be highly specific and highly relatable to that persona. So what we did was we came up with two characters, one being the CEO. He's basically an asshole boss. And then we have this character named Wayne, who's the growth marketer, who's under a ton of pressure because he's trying to get answers for his CFO and CEO, but his data is a mess. And the mess was caused by these advertising channels claiming attribution or not claiming attribution. So we created these very specific personas, and this is what the ad kind of turned out to be.
Yes, sure. Yes.
Wait, what's our LTV?
Should we still be spending ROAS as 0.6?
What's our cash turnover?
Can we do this next week? Our data's messed.
Next week, cash flow is tight now.
Wayne, hello?
Where are the sales coming from?
They're coming from me. Look at the analytics.
Nope, we're tracking 36 conversions. And I refunded you 14 cents last month.
I think it was my story. Wait, it's coming from me, and I'll give you $1,000 ad credit.
Hey, sales came from us, no cap. Wayne.
Marketing analytics weighing heavy on you.
So what are you guys doing for lunch?
Use Triple Whale. Track, manage, and centralize your e-commerce data with attribution you can trust.
So with this specific ad, we basically took a character who was under a ton of pressure within his company, who was getting his bosses down his throat, to becoming the hero of the story. And so that's how we think about a lot of our creative, in terms of like making your customer the hero of the story and not your brand the hero of your story. So people want to watch the ad and be like, oh, I could picture myself becoming the hero of that story. And so it doesn't matter what you're selling. Like let's take barbecue, like a barbecue, for example. So most people that would sell a barbecue would be like, our barbecue is the best. It's stainless steel. We got the highest quality metals, blah, 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 blah. No one cares about that stuff. People want to know, our barbecue is going to make you the summer hit in your backyard. People are going to love coming over to your house, and they're going to view you as the best cook, and it helps average cooks become great cooks, and blah, 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 blah. And it makes them become the hero of the story and not your brand. So in this Triple Whale creative, in the creatives we make, it doesn't matter if it's shot on an iPhone like the Pet Labs Co, or it's a higher end video like this. We try and make the persona of the person we're selling to the hero of the story and not our brand. So you got to know exactly who you're speaking to. Here we were speaking to a data-driven marketer, and then we sprinkle in direct response tastefully. And the result of that is having an ad that really hits home with people. This ad really hit home with the community. The language was on point. And so before we ever made this ad or any ads we ever make, we really go into who we're talking to. It's the exact same way, Carl, when your team's building out landers and PDPs and writing copy on your clients' brand websites, you know exactly who you're talking to.
Yeah, super, super, super important. I almost mention it in like every single video. Like you gotta understand who are you selling to, and like what is their behavior and what is really getting them to buy from you, because only then you can align the creative and the copy and the website with what they want and what they need, and then you're going to turn them from a cold traffic to a prospect to a customer.
Exactly. And the process of that is not, you're not wishy-washy hoping your messaging is speaking to the right person. It's all very data driven off customer data of what people are actually saying, competitor comments, reading into all that stuff. So you actually know exactly who you're speaking to. And so when you do release the ad, it gives you a much higher chance at success. So we recently, I wanted to share a case study that was literally from like the past 10 days on a new client that we just launched. So we cut their Meta new customer CPA from $122 to $50 in the last week. So basically I'll play this ad and then we'll talk about the ad, and I'll kind of show you a lot of the metrics behind what we're looking at, as well as a new approach that we're kind of doing. And Marin, who was on your podcast talking about the UDI and like how they structure retargeting, we think about things very similar in that sense of making it like a full funnel approach. So I'll go into that as well.
What is that? That's what that incredible scent.
You're so amazing.
Are you smelling that?
Thanks. It's Riddle. It's Riddle. Riddle. It's Riddle.
Oh, all right.
Can we start driving?
Not an Uber driver, so we're just enjoying the smell. There's a giant spider back there. I have no idea where it went.
Yeah.
I'm just like, heads up.
Prepare to be complimented. Click the link and find your scent today.
So this creative, in the last week, we took new customer CPA from $122 to $55. And so when we were coming up with the concept behind this ad, fragrance is a really tricky one in terms of people can't smell it when they see it online with an ad, right? So we thought through of like, how can we advertise this in the best way that's really going to get people to take an action and tap into that human psychology. So what we did was we read through a ton of comments, a ton of reviews, and one of the underlying things that was most prevalent was people saying, I always get complimented when I wear this fragrance. Humans love being complimented. When you meet somebody and you compliment them, there's instantly a more likeness to that person that person garners with you. So we kind of took this concept and we created this campaign called Prepare to be Complimented, where a hero actress is going through multiple scenarios that are very weird and obscure, getting complimented while she's wearing the Riddle fragrance. And what this has kind of done over the last week is really pre-framed people to be like, if I buy this, I'm going to become like that hero in that story. I'm going to get complimented when I wear it. My husband's going to think I'm more attractive. My wife's going to think I'm more attractive. Whatever it is, it pre-frames people in a unique way, which is fragrance. It's hard to convince people because they can't smell it again. That it's actually going to work for them, and it's actually going to smell great on them, and it answers those questions. So that's kind of how we took the thought process on this ad. It was very based around our customer data that we were seeing and reviews. And right now it's absolutely crushing. So here's like some of the metrics that we're seeing at it right out the gate, and we'll fully optimize this as we go. But right out the gate, average is about 50% thumb stop, 34% hold rate, video average playtime 10%, outbound CTR just above 2%, conversion rates about 6.67%, and then the cost per result is around 20 bucks. And this is all at top of the funnel cold. And so this is we try and make our creative, again, whether it's shot on an iPhone or high production like this, very educational, entertaining, and providing the consumer who's watching value. And so this ad, if you look at it on Instagram, it's generating a ton of comments of people talking about it, talking about the ad, commenting their experiences while wearing the product and that kind of thing, which is, driving CPMs and stuff like that down. So then we take it a step further and we kind of make it full funnel. So what we do is the next step of this process is we will release still images and smaller, shorter retargeting videos that have specific characters in the image or in the video, retargeting, let's say 95% of people who watch that video, 75% and 50% of people who watch that video. And we will uncover in those retargeting and smaller videos objections that people may have, and any other questions that they may have about the product. We'll talk about reviews, that kind of thing. Retargeting is not near as big as it used to be, but we still implement it. And then, Carl, when I was listening to one of your talks about sales funnels, there's something that we talk about as well that you spoke about called the mirror exposure effect. And that is basically people are more likely to spend money on, let's say, a brand like Heinz ketchup, and pay a little more, literally only because they've been exposed to the product more. It's the exact same product as a no-name ketchup brand. There's no difference, but they will pay more money because they've been consistently exposed to this product and their marketing. And so we try and do that with our marketing. So we take it a step further. And so with this specific campaign, we will have a ton of UGC creators talking about, hey, I just bought this Riddle bottle. I saw the prepare to be complimented ad. We'll show a snippet of the ad, and then we'll also retarget the people that watch the video. So then they think everybody's watched these ads, everybody's buying this product. And so it's that mirror exposure effect that the more people see something, the more likely they are to trust it, take an action, and buy. So yeah, creating retargeting assets that match the message of the original ad that they are hit with, retarget people with those, as well as videos of humans saying, I saw this ad and bought. Whether it's high production or like DR or iPhone quality DR, actually making quality content needs to be your focus. Providing the audience value, being highly relatable to people, building community, and not just trying to hard sell with every piece of content you make. If you look at like a guy like Dave Portnoy at Barstool Sports, he's a very smart business guy, but he doesn't act unrelatable. A lot of he's worth $500 million, maybe more now, and he makes reviews of himself reviewing pizza. It's ridiculous, but he comes off as highly relatable to people, so people trust him and trust his brand. And so it's a different style of the way that brand's built, but you can still take those concepts and implement them into your creative. And then we test multiple styles of all these ads that we make. Again, I'm reiterating this, I'm drilling this in your head. Whatever we're shooting, the focus is to provide value. So this leads me back and ties back to the main opener of this conversation was don't be transactional. No one likes transactional people. I know when I get a DM, or I'm sure Carl can relate to this, when you get a DM and it's someone just trying to cold pitch you've never talked to, it's annoying. And people and consumers are smart. They're not dumb. And a lot of the times we advertise to people like they're dumb. So I think it's like getting back to that, having a little more respect for the people you're selling to, and really trying to convince them and provide them value and educate them and entertain them on why you're better, why your product is going to make their life better. So these can run on YouTube. They can be semi-produced to highly produced movie-like style. They're highly shareable. So they're not just for Meta. They have a big word of mouth factor. I don't believe that people watch UGC and go like, hey, did you see that awesome UGC ad for XYZ brand? Where it's just like an influencer talking about themselves. We use UGC and it does work, but I do think there's a structure with like the Pet Labs Co. style ads or the higher production style ads that really entertain and provide people value, and ultimately share them with a friend. And they do very funny things or things that are just on brand to them. Liquid Death is like a prime example. They cast porn stars in their ads. They tie people up, they waterboard them. It's a little like edgy. Not every brand has to be like that, but you need to find the best fit for your brand and ultimately create content that gets people talking in the comment section. Liquid Death, like they're really good at making content just people love to watch. And this makes people tell stories about their brand. And this is one of the things that is not easily measured directionally off of Meta or Triple Whale or any of these platforms, is how many people are actually talking about your brand because you hit them with an ad that really resonated with them. So it's like going back to the Pet Lab one with the dog with stinky breath. Maybe I have a friend whose dog's breath reeks. Like my mom's dog, my childhood dog, terrible breath. She's like 17 years old. I would potentially get hit with that ad and send it to my mom and be like, hey, you should check this out. So doesn't matter whether you're making highly produced content or you're piecing content together in the very DR focused way, like Pet Lab Co., making it about solving the person's problem. So we make to entertain and educate first, and then we edit for performance. So we're going to look into the ad account and we'll compare on an account average the creatives that we launch. What is the account average of outbound CTR, click-through rate, all these metrics, and then we will optimize our ads to beat the current best performers in the account. And that's by doing subtle iterations, one variable at a time. So here's kind of the structure of our viral ads. So I'll hook up a document at the end that will go more in depth, but we have our hook. We make it very engaging. We try to invoke an emotion with the hook or provide just a really weird visual that gets people to stop. It's really hard to earn people's attention right now. There's so many ads going out there. So I would focus at least 70% of your attention on creating very engaging hooks. Then we talk about the problem. Then we talk about the solution, the product intro, social proof, whether that's reviews of people, magazines. We stack benefits. We handle any objections, similar to like how you structure things on a PDP. We think about that similarly in our creative process. And these don't have to be in this exact order every time. We test and shift things around sometimes. Objection handling, CTA, and offer. So that's kind of the structure. And our first idea with the creative is to make something not cheesy, but make something that people that actually want to watch, similar to the triple whale ad. But even if we have, like, let's say $500 to make an ad or $200 to make an ad, it's very key to make it educational, not cheesy, and provide the person value that's watching. We don't always do direct to camera when speaking. Sometimes we do conversational, sometimes we do mashups. We do a bunch of variety. When you make your ads with the idea of entertaining first, it will drive sales, and it has a much higher chance of taking off simply because people want to share it because it's actually good. Like, that's the only caveat. So once we go live, here's kind of what we look at. We look at thumb stop, hold rate, video average watch time, outbound CTR. We switch the attribution settings between 1-day click, 7-day click, and see if it's actually driving direct response right off the top. So that's like 1-day click, looking at that metric. And then obviously ROAS, purchases, conversion rate, and cost per result. And then again, we compare it on an account average. And so if you launch it and you see your outbound CTR is a little bit lower than an account average, that's typically a call to action issue. So your call to action not being direct enough, not being bold enough, not being clear enough. So that's like a little thing there. If your thumb stop or hold rate is lower than your account average, your hook needs work. It needs a little bit of work. And then if your video average watch time is a little bit lower than the rest of your accounts, you need to cut your video in a way and look at your video in a way where it's like, when it changes from scene to scene, what is the scene that's really based off of your average watch time? What is the scene that's really like causing people to drop off? And then optimizing that and making that a little bit more intriguing. So tying it all together, as a brand, we actually need to think more like YouTubers and influencers when we make our content. Carl, like, you're a prime example of the YouTube content you've been putting out for your audience is fire. So much value there. People in turn trust you more. And so it's the same thing again when we're making ads, is try to think like a YouTuber, try to think like an influencer. They put out valuable content that makes people trust them. So make content purely to entertain and provide value. The reason I believe in it building such a moat around your brand is because there's very few brands that are actually making content or thinking like this. Most brands only think of converting people, like that annoying person who just slid in your Twitter or LinkedIn DM that you've never ever spoke to. So to finish this off, I implore you to take advantage of platforms like TikTok if high production stuff is out of the question, and make very DR style content like the Pet Labs Co., like some of the other stuff we make for clients like Persona and some of these supplement brands. It doesn't have to be expensive, and make stuff people love. And then the compounding effect of this on your final P&L, it may not be shown through ROAS instantly, but when you're making content that actually grows brand affinity, the valuation of your company is going to grow. Do what you can, do the best you can, and make to provide value. Do this over a long period of time, and you'll have raving loyal fans, not just customers. If you look at a lot of the Pet Lab videos, like, I keep going back to them because they're a great example. They have people in the comment section who are like, I bought this product that helped my dog so much. Like, and it creates this sense of trust where other people who are cold, have never heard of this product before, are like, oh, this person saw success with it. It's a real human being. And that is, it's not farmed or anything like that. It's genuine. you'll have a higher chance of creating something that really does go viral and earn massive attention because it's super simple. People share and talk about things that actually made them happy. It's the exact same thing. People introduce themselves to people in their networks and friends and opportunities to people who provide them value. And it's a lot harder for people to duplicate what you're doing because a lot of people are lazy and they don't want to put effort in to make content like this. So to finish it off, build the asset of content. Think like a YouTuber, entertain, provide value, build community, and optimize like a performance marketer. Build off what's working, scale up what is, and cut what's not. And that's it.
Holy fucking shit, bro. This was a blog. Damn, like guys, everybody that's watching this, make sure to go through this like 2 or 3 times because there's been so much value in this. I'm gonna put some of the stuff together and like some of the gold nuggets that stuck with me, right? Which were like a lot. So it's like really difficult, but this has been super valuable. I really liked how you broke down the ads and your mindset and everything. So thank you so much for hopping on today, bro.
Thank you, brother, for having me on. I really appreciate it. And thanks for everything you're doing for the community.
Thank you so much, bro. Then see you soon.
Okay, see you soon, dude. Bye.